Give a hand mic for the...
This week, our very own Cat Miller, to nowhere is to love. Stay seated and finish it. It's the aging paradox, unveiling the dynamic interplay between decline and expansion. Now, Kat will tell us today about the interplay between decline and expansion inherent in aging. Now, Kat has an MA in spiritual psychology. She's a counselor, speaker, and pro-aging activist who is passionate about helping people use the challenges and opportunities of aging as a doorway to a fulfilled and joyful life. Check out our website, agefreely.com. We're very, very pleased and very honoured to have Kat Miller. Please, come and welcome.
So wonderful to see you all here. Thank you for giving some of your precious time to be here. And of course, as we get older, we realize what time means, more so than we ever did. I'm sure you remember, I certainly do, when I thought I had all the time in the world. I even said once out loud, I was with some friends, I said, if I die. I meant it, yeah, that was really young then. The shift in perspective from time being forever and time being short affects us in many ways, and we're going to discuss that today, through the lens of declines and expansions that come with aging. This is my current passion. So aging is a bitch if we don't see through the myth of ageism, if we toe the party line. The changes are dramatic, but actually not more dramatic than they ever were. We have just been taught to hate and fear these changes. We learned to kind of be excited about the changes when we were young. Oh goody, I've got pubic hair. Oh goody, I've got this. Oh goody, I can drive a car. Oh goody, all these things. So we were excited. Now we're not excited, but it's possible. So aging is not a linear path of decline and decrepitude ending in death, as it's commonly thought of, but rather a dynamic process filled with both challenges and opportunities for the inner experiences we have always dreamed of, but youth got in the way of. Youth genetically and just the cultural experience. But before we jump into our beliefs on aging, there's so much like where they currently are with this decrepitude death thing. There's so much kind of like a poor brew of coffee, a horrible cup of coffee. So I want us to kind of empty out this cup. So right now, this aging cup is filled with personal, familiar, cultural, pharmaceutical, and cosmetic industry-driven influences. So let's pour out some of this foul-tasting brew and see if we can be here with curiosity and openness. I want to create a container in which to do this, so that we can kind of rest our beliefs for at least this talk. And to create this container, I want to touch on two research studies. The first one is the U-curve of happiness, and you might be aware of it because it's everywhere. And that is a study, a huge study based in multiple countries that shows the happiest people on the planet are the youngest and the oldest. Now that, you just heard some So you're like, So that's contrary to what we believe. We believe that people are happier in their kind of 30s and 40s. That's actually when they're the least happy, and then they build from their 50s on. So that's part of the container. The second study highlights the power of a positive mindset towards aging. For those that feel positive about aging, the studies show that you can gain about 7.5 more years of life. That's a long time for just one thing. And the study pulls out for all kinds of health issues and all kinds of stuff and narrowly focuses it down. And that's really amazing, right? So you can maybe keep smoking and drinking tequila, but if you get a positive attitude about aging, you might be able to live on it. That's the way I'm rolling anyway. So if you want to know more about these studies, because they are fascinating, I've been reading lots and lots of studies for the last about 6 years. You can find it, the studies are on Joannina Wyckoff's and my website, which has to do with our game. A part of the game has research studies, questions, and it kind of brings awareness and defeats ageism in my book. So the website is called theoldergame.com. And there's a page that says research, and there's about 17 studies on that page, and you can click on any one of the studies, and it will take you actually to the full research. So any of you that are research geeks. So this is the container I want to use. 7.5 more years for a positive attitude, and the happiest people are the oldest people and the youngest people. What if this stage in your life could be equal to the joy of raising children, being at the height of your career, being in love, being in cancer remission, or finally retiring? Crazy, right? Let's see. What is it you have always wanted to experience on the inside? Your emotional mental state. So here's just a quick list of some of mine. I wanted to love myself, to trust myself, to care for myself, to be authentic, to feel part of all life, to be open, to be good to my loved ones, to be vulnerable, to be content and fulfilled. I wanted to experience both joy and happiness, to take life as it comes and goes. I wanted inner peace, freedom. Your list may be different, but I imagine it has some of these flavors. So really today we're talking about the inner experience of aging. So the weird thing is, my research, my counseling work with clients, and my own understanding has been showing me that this time in our life, with all of its declines and losses, is the perfect atmosphere for these inner experiences we have most wanted. So just drink that in for a second. You may think, she's lying, she's wrong, which is fine. I could be, by the way. But today we're just going to explore from this possibility. So what I see is that these changes seem intricately designed, these declines and expansions seem intricately designed to shape our lives towards happiness and freedom. These changes, I believe, are part of the miracle of life, the web of life. Speaking with a friend a while back opened up my understanding into aging around what goes and what comes. With slowing down physically, wonder arises. These are can, doesn't have to, but can. Wonder arises. With slower cognitive speed, expanded understanding comes. With less energy, paying attention to what's most important and dropping what's not. As striving lessens, appreciation for what is grows. With so much loss of loved ones comes fierce love. With so much death around us, a clarifying force on how to live our lives now emerges. With time being short, there's no time to waste on bullshit. With so much personal and societal failure, compassion flows and resilience is acknowledged. So what is the dynamic between decline and expansion inherent, as I believe, inherent in aging? For me, it is that without declines, we most likely would not get the expansions. That teaches me to trust life as it is. This has become my work to pass this possibility on to you. The first decline we're going to talk about today is life is shorter. We have more of our life behind us than in front of us. The expansion, surprisingly, research shows that we become happier when we expand our awareness to the shortness of time. So some people don't, and I don't know if you have yet, and I would say I fully have, but for those that do, go, wow, they start to reprioritize their life, they let things go, they include new things. So why is this the case? Our priorities shift with this awareness towards cherishing the present moment and cultivating gratitude for the important elements of our lives, ultimately fostering happiness. We've all heard the phrase, ain't got time for that, as we shed friendships, job, habits, attitudes that no longer serve us. This is a testament, I believe, to the power of embracing or at least accepting life's briefness. We are encouraged by the shortness of time to forgive ourselves and others, to accept the whole of our lives, and look at what is here, deeply here, underneath all the turbulence, with life as it is. So I would like you all just to take a moment and to cruise your life from the perspective of hard times. Just 5 seconds, and no dip down, Don't go in. I don't want to hear any, primal screaming or anything. Just take a few seconds. And, we've lived long enough, you can kind of see it. I got this, I got divorced. Oh yeah, I got married, then I got divorced, then I lost a job, and then so just cruise for a second. So many hard times. So many times when we have thought we couldn't possibly go on or get through or even open our heart again. So many losses, including marriages, friendships, jobs, and the death of children, mothers, fathers, and siblings. You might have done work you disliked for years or set aside dreams to raise children. You have been sick or your loved ones have. And yet, here we all are. We're resilient. We take it for granted, resilience, like, oh yeah, I'm resilient. Or people at our age will say, I'm not resilient. It's not actually possible to kind of be alive now, at whatever age we are sitting here, we're mostly an older group, and not be resilient. It's something worth acknowledging frequently. It's wondrous. Not everyone has this miracle of living to tell the story of living to see today's sunrise. It's worth passing along. Younger people don't know this resilience in their bones the way we do. We can really share this. Resilience, I believe, is part of our nature. It's one of the gifts of being human, is you get resilience. Doesn't mean everybody has it. There's obvious reasons. There's mental health issues. There's genetic issues. There's all kinds of issues. But in the norm, resilience is part of our nature. We can live through hard times and enjoy life at the same time, sometimes even in the same moment. This is noteworthy. Have you not been at a memorial and you're crying and then you walk out and you're laughing with friends and you go to lunch and there's a part of you that goes, oh my God, I can't believe I'm happy. And it's actually okay. We can mourn and laugh and enjoy at the same time. So before I continue, I want to gauge our perspective. So you're all going to hold up your hands and your fingers on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no way could this be the best time of my life, and 10 being absolutely this top rocks. Where do you stand? So just use your fingers however you do. Oh my God, you guys aren't my right crowd. You're holding up too many fingers. What do you know that most people don't know? Thank you. So we got a lot of 10s in here. Lots. That's unusual. If you talk to most people around our age, they will say aging sucks, but it beats the alternative. It's very common. I have people tell me that maybe even once or twice a week. I'll be out and about, going into a grocery store or whatever, and hey, how you doing? Well, aging sucks, but it beats the alternative. I think we got to stop that crap. I think that's a dangerous sentence. So let's plunge into the expansions that are birthed from the natural declines that come with being human. The first ones I'm talking about today are social and emotional. After that, we'll talk about the body and then just the straight up benefits. A reminder, if we hang on to any of these declines that I'm going to be talking about in terms of the emotional, mental realm, wistfully wishing we were still young, aging does suck. I said that really clearly. I need to have a sip of water. I crack my own stuff up. Decline. Old identities and self-perception. Expansion. With age, there's often a shift from previous self-identities and the roles we thought we should play. More freedom to be oneself. Inhabiting authenticity. Inhabiting it. It's a little bit different than cultivating it. It's like we can actually relax into it. See? Good decline. Second decline. All the time in the world. Expansion. Short time. Embrace impermanence is the deal here, to cultivate gratitude and harmony with reality. Reevaluate life priorities, cultivate contentment, emphasize relationships, personal growth, and meaningful experiences. So this is where I was back to that, ain't got time for that. This is where we do this work. And to acknowledge the preciousness of each moment. Not every single moment, because some moments, are really crappy. And really important is to make peace with the past and the future. This is it. This is the time. If you haven't done it already, this is the time. And the good news about that, at least what I see in my self-work and my work in my counseling practice, is that we're more primed to be able to deal with some of the stuff that we never could get over. And we're never really going to get over. We don't have to get over things. We live through things. And this time of our life, because we've had so many experiences and we've seen the experiences of so many people around us, we can actually kind of relax into some of this stuff or make peace with it well enough. It doesn't have to be perfect, like, oh, I don't have that anymore in my life. I'm free of that. It isn't necessary. And obviously, I think it's ridiculous. Next decline, life, expansion, death. Making peace with death, like the shortness of time, allows us to not be fearful. It allows us more say in what we'd like, if possible, for a good death. It lets our family and friends know what we want. It allows a mindset to live as if this was the last day. I'm sure you're talking more about that with friends, I just want to live my life as if this is my last day. It allows us to clean up our lives. If we are not afraid of death, we can actually face living. We can clean up our lives, our relationships, and we can make sure we speak of love to our loved ones, to share what is important with those younger than ourselves. This is the time, if you haven't communicated to your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and your neighbors and your whatever, this is the time to share the pieces you're learning. We have a role. I know it's, at least in the U.S., it's been tampered down, that we have no value, but that in itself is bullshit. Decline. Naivety and invincibility. Belief in life's predictability, expectation of stable relationships, health and circumstances. Now, I don't think the younger generation is having the experience, but for those of us from the 40s and 50s and 60s, we really thought, hey, we're going to get the job, and then you're going to get the thing, and then you get that picket fence, and so the truth is, a lot of that stuff didn't work out. The expansion. Develop wisdom by understanding life's complexities and fragility. And that's something we can help the younger generation with, because they're experiencing it, but I don't think anybody's helping them go, this is how life is. And boy, what a relief that would be to be told that by somebody that loves us and cares for us. Life is hard. It's very hard. And gratitude for life amid the mess of life. Decline, independence. This is the sticky wicket for most people. I haven't really met anybody in my practice or friendship or just anywhere in the world that I'm, communicating with people who say, I'm comfortable with being dependent. I'm comfortable needing help. I'm comfortable asking for help and receiving help. Almost everybody I know says, I don't want to be dependent. I don't want to lose my independence. Well, for many of us, that's just not going to turn out the way it is. So if we can, again, kind of make peace with it, we've always needed help. The truth is, we've never lived our life without help. We may feel we did it all on our own and nobody helped us and we were abandoned. But in truth, we had that teacher, that person, that first job, somebody that believed in us. Always we've been helped. So part of it is just coming into the reality of that. And we need to examine our old beliefs. How come independence has such fierceness with it? If you think about the tone of voice you use when you say it, or when you hear somebody else say, I want to be independent. I don't want to be dependent on my children. I don't want to. There's an energy to the voice. So it's important to look at, what are the beliefs? Is this? Are they hindering me? Is this going to create actual problems in my life? This intensity. And then we get to ask ourselves, what is the quality I truly need now? And how do I go about getting that? What are my preferences? So it's a time of flexibility, adaptability, and resourcefulness. I know those words sound like, oh Christ, really? Do I have to be adaptable and flexible and resourceful? Yes. Decline. I'm putting this in the emotional category. Well, it looks like it should belong in the aging, the body, but here we go. Decline, aging body. The anti-aging market, driven by pharmaceutical and cosmetic industries, as well as mainstream and social media, promotes a fear of aging. The global anti-aging market was estimated at US $72.5 billion in 2024 and is expected to surpass around US $121.84 billion by 2032. This market tells us that aging is a downhill decline into decrepitude unless you slather, eat right, inject, cut, supplement, exercise, and become a super ager. Expansion. Individually and communally question and kick ass to the anti-agers by discovering for ourselves what our aging life is free from ageism. This is an individual and communal experience. It's a time to shift our focus to inner strength and personal growth. It's a time to choose authenticity and resilience, like lean into, like enjoy resilience. I made it. Oh my God, I'm here. So these next declines and expansions are all part of the aging body. And as I said, the one I just did seems like it belongs with the aging body, but you'll see. The decline, youthful appearance. Skin may become thinner, drier, and less elastic, leading to wrinkles, age spots, and arm wings. Oh, and low knees. The expansion. Break free from societal ageism and find true beauty freshly in our own looks. I don't know about you, but when I was young, I took apart my looks all the time. I never liked my neck. If somebody told me they didn't like my legs, that became a permanent. I was too fat. So there is a way to actually look in the mirror or feel into the body and say, I'm beautiful. I certainly appreciate my looks better than I ever have. I don't know about you. The other expansion is self-acceptance. Just as I'm showing, I never accepted the way I looked, the way my body was, the way it moved, the way it, whatever. Decline, sleep changes. Yeah, I hear that. Sleep patterns may change, leading to less restful sleep or insomnia. How many of us here have problems sleeping? Okay, about half, a little less than half. I hate all of you that sleep well. Expansion. Discover new ways to deeply rest and rejuvenate. So some people nap, right? Some people can cloud watch. One of the things I do is I put on a meditation when I wake up in the middle of the night to help me go back to sleep. Creativity during the day sometimes can really sponsor a more restful sleep because it feels like there's a sense of achievement or a joy in participating in something, whatever that creativity might be. It's not a particular one. So it is to go, how do I rest? How do I rejuvenate? Decline health. This is the big one. Illness, more prone to cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and dementia. This is the scary one, right? This is the one that none of us want. Expansion. Take nothing for granted. Develop appreciation for the aspects of life unaffected by illness. What about me has always been true no matter what my circumstances? What's the same about me, you, that was true when I was 5 and is true now? How do I bring more, in my case, her into my life, the awareness into my life? The other is to change our beliefs, ask and accept help and support from others. and to ask again, what is the quality of life I need to have to choose living or to choose dying? Many people are starting to choose when it's appropriate for them to stop living. Technology has made it that many diseases that we have can, by treating some of them, they can create more suffering than the disease itself. I'm sure you know people in that. So it's very important to say, what is it I want to do and how do I talk about it with other people? And just to think about it, ruminate and play with it. And I'm separating out the cognitive abilities, even though I mentioned it in the last one. So decline, cognitive abilities. This is the one that actually kind of got me going on research, because we've been told that our cognitive abilities, but then you laugh and you don't really give a shit. Okay, so that they decline, and then that is the truth of it. Studies show that speed declines and certain types of memory declines, or some people don't have this issue, but what happens is the aging brain networks become more integrated, connected, and efficient, enhancing cognitive abilities. We see situations from multiple perspectives and focus on the bigger picture. Slower processing speeds and memory changes encourage mindful presence and leading to a more enriching life. So part of what's happening out in the corporate world is they're hiring older people back again. They let them go and they're bringing them back. Because one of the things that the aging brain has is the ability to slow down and look at all the different pieces of the puzzle. What they were finding when all their CEOs and all the people in their companies were 27, 32, 40, that they were like, oh, we need to do that. Okay, let's, the speed makes for, I see it, I got it. When the speed slows down, it's like, oh, wait, and uh-huh. So that is, and multiple studies have been done about this. Also, by the way, Alzheimer's is decreasing, even though it's increasing because more and more people are becoming older, but it's decreasing percentage-wise across the board. So that's very interesting, because you're not going to see that unless you search for it. They're just saying, it's on the increase. Well, that's because more and more people are over 60. How am I doing? Decreased physical energy. Expansion. Our interiority can get richer, deeper, and stronger. How we spend our energy becomes more important. We are more selective, and maybe even surprisingly more energized. So it's an interesting, obviously I'm on fire about these declines and expansions and how they relate to each other, but I find it really interesting to talk to people that many people might say, God, I need a nap, but God, I love my life and how I'm spending and I just feel energized. But I'm tired. I'm less. So it's really worth looking at your own life and seeing how that's true for you, and to make sure you're spending your life in ways that are really important to you, that you love and enjoy as much as you can. What do I really want to do with my time as part of this? It's a question that many of us did not get to ask when we were young. We just had to do life, and we had to get on with it, and we had families to raise and jobs to have and houses, mortgage payments. And so in a way, there's this fresh opportunity in this decrease of energy to say, explore one's passions and desires. Decrease sexual frequency. Expansion. Explore new avenues for intimacy, focusing on connection over performance and finding satisfaction in new forms of lovemaking. Research shows, a study with 9,000 aging people finds, as sexual frequency drops in later life, satisfaction declines much less. In fact, many elders say they feel more satisfied with their lovemaking than ever. Important study. This is why the game I have has all these studies, because I think it blows up these myths so efficiently. Because it's like, well, wait a minute. Is that true? Isn't it just like sex gets shittier as you get older? Decline. Muscle mass and strength. Expansion. It's okay. It's okay. Gratitude for current abilities. Adapt. Prioritize strengths needed. So I have the funniest things that I want to be able to do now that would have never entered my consciousness when I was young. I want to be able to, when I bend down to get something off the floor, that I can come up without holding on to anything. That is a personal goal of mine. When I was young, I mean, who would have even thought about it? I could have probably done it on one foot and picked something up. So I love that. What strengths? Okay, so what are my priorities now? For what strengths do I want to be? One is to open the jar. So I've got a ball that I, squeeze balls. What I remember. Also, strengthen resilience by asking for help when needed. Declining senses. Vision acuity, night vision, taste and hearing can diminish. I hear the Expansions. Cultivate appreciation by tuning into current sensory experiences. Might as well do that now because, I might be wearing a hearing aid next whatever and won't be able to taste strawberry pie in 6 months, so it's really like doing it now. Become a connoisseur of your senses. And again, the horrible thing of strengthen adaptability and resourcefulness. And then, we're lucky, keep on top of technology. There's so much that can help us with all of these things. I don't think there's anything for taste, but for the others. If we don't make peace with aging and death, we might find ourselves depressed, resentful, bitter, without curiosity and dreams. And you can put this through your thinking in terms of looking throughout your life, maybe your parents, maybe your grandparents, your next door neighbors. There's something we saw, many of us, with older people that really looks awful. This is part of it. Not making peace. Not knowing you could keep your dreams going. But we might find ourselves feeling separate from life, deeply lonely, even if not alone. We may find ourselves paralyzed between a wistful or negative past or an anxious future. We may be so fearful of death we don't even talk about it. So making peace with aging is very important. We may miss out on the beauty of life by taking people and situations for granted, by overlooking what is here, brief, beautiful moments and deeply sad, grief-filled moments. Life as it truly is. The goodies of aging are oftentimes innate. You don't have to do these kind of decline, expansions, letting go. They flow in. They just happen. However, to fully receive the wisdom and joy that accompanies this stage of life, it's essential to engage in reflection. To accept the impermanence of all things. To allow ourselves to flow with the inevitable losses and grief that come our way. So instead of reeling off, I have a huge long list that I've been cultivating for 6 years, maybe I've been studying all this, and instead of reeling it off to you, I asked AI to write a poem in my voice of the goodies. Here it is. Let me refresh. As the years unfurl and we journey on, we discover wisdom like a beckoning song. The pursuit of things no longer a core, our hearts now seek what truly soars. We share our stories, lived and learned, bridging generations, hearts are turned. Emotional and transitional intelligence evolves, expands, and grows. Life's complexities in beauty it shows. Egos soften, goals reshape, uncertainty no longer a freeze. Patience blooms, our spirits sing, emotional depth, the gift it brings. Stable hearts in love's embrace, perfection's chains we choose to replace. Society's rules no longer bind our authentic selves we truly find. Embracing life's rich tapestry, curiosity, our minds set free, compassion for all, our hearts unfold, life's mysteries with wonder behold. Beauty's call, our souls respond, forgiveness, a path we bravely walk. In life's twilight, love's sweetest gift, savoring moments our spirits lift. With gratitude, we dance and sway to life's eternal loving play. Aging's grace, a treasure to behold, our hearts rejoice as our lives end. AI and me. So I have brought 8 of my games that Joannina Wyckoff and I co-created together. They are an inquiry game. You're holding one. They're an inquiry game. So they're fun in a, weird way. And they have many, as I said, they have the research and they have all kinds of great questions. And many people have reported they like playing them they want to play them with their grandchildren. And one young gal said she wanted to play with her grandparents. So anyway, they're available on Amazon. I only have 8 in this country. Joannina Wyckoff has some here, so you can also get a hold of her. So I want to end in conclusion. We have a beautiful role to play with our families and communities and to those who come after us. Together we can illuminate our world with the brilliance of our age, at home with the ever-flowing rhythm of life. May we embrace impermanence, allowing it to hold us in its fierce and tender grace. Thank you all for your presence and for being part of this story. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you so much, Gal. That was great. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
We have time for questions, so if you have a question, raise your hand. Step 1. If you can stand and talk into the microphone like that. Okay?
Hello, Kat, and you know how much I love you. 2 things. As a person that I thought I'd never get to say this from when I was younger, I am now older than the President of the United States. Oh, there you go. Anyway, I truly believe everything you said. I live that, but here's what I want to know. How are you going to take this out into the world? And I think it's important that you do. I played your game. It's such a wonderful way to open conversations with people other than saying, where did you come from and what did you have for lunch today? It's like giving you the opportunity to actually learn and love somebody. So I need you to take this into the world.
Thank you. Well, I have big dreams. They're probably ridiculous, but I have them. And I just felt fascinated with this about 6 years ago. Through myself and my friends and hearing people say things that were ridiculous, including myself, I would like to be on TED Talks. I'd like to be the main stage of TED someday. That's the big dream. I'd like to be around groovy people like Oprah and Maria Shriver and different people who are doing, Jane Fonda, people that are doing work on aging. And I would like to just be free to communicate on Instagram and Facebook in the ways of what I'm learning, what I'm seeing, what I'm enjoying, what I'm discovering from you all. So I'd really like to grow. I'd like to grow this, and I'm just doing it one baby step at a time. The game took 3 years to create, and I think it's a wonderful. Joannina and I, we lose money on the game, but we knew that before we made it. It's our gift. And we hope it gets to a publisher and is taken off of our hands would be the dream for that. So thank you for that question.
Another question here, Ken?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm a little self-conscious. I find at my age, I'm 68, that I have this sadness, this deep sadness about who I was and the physical abilities that are gone. And part of me knows, or I know philosophically, well, you know, it's aging, it happens, but deep, deep inside, there's a sadness. Can you say something about that? Because the last 15 years of my life were the high point of my life. And a lot of that had to do with my physical abilities. So now here I am, like, okay, that's over, great. Here we go into something else, but there's still a core of sadness.
You know, I think you're just right on. I think you're just completely appropriate. I think it's very, very important to grieve our losses. And like the first decline we talked about in the social world is the decline of identities and self-perceptions. And, you know, in this case, you loved some of your identities and your self-perception. And so to grieve it is really important. You do not bypass grieving. What I would say is to take that part where it was the high point of my life so far. So I'm so happy that this last period of time was a high point of your life. And I'd be really curious to see what's possible in the midst of loss and grief, and turning your attention away from physical abilities to some inner abilities or some new aspects. So for me, I've been lucky in one sense, is that my looks were never my card. They were never my play. Mine was more my personality. So the people that their looks were their go-to, they really hit this aging and grieve tremendously, and not sure how to be in the world without their looks being front and center. For some, it's, you know, it's all kinds of things. So anyway, I really appreciate your grief, and it's important.
Now we have another one here.
Well, I used to live in very fast-paced, doing so many things, trying to save time. I moved to Mexico. Now I'm perfectioning procrastination. Applying I'm Mexican, and there is always mañana. I got one of you today.
Oh, great, thank you. Yeah, procrastination. I saw a short video this morning on laziness. Somebody wrote a book about it. It's like, get over it, it's fine to relax and not know and to just enjoy and be in the moment. I mean, really, being in the moment is one of the most important things now. So, thank you.
Another question here?
Hello, Kat. I
Hello.
took notes today,
Oh,
but you said a heck of a lot of important stuff. I'd like to share your presentation with others. Is your presentation that you gave today online or can be seen? Because I hate to say it, I probably forgot a few things.
it was dense. I know it was really, really dense. It will be available on the Open Circle website within a few days. We'll also, as you can see, this gentleman over here is filming. I'm also making a piece that I will put on my website, and that maybe we'll even substitute it out for this film. We'll see what happens. But I know I was really rich dense. Also, when you watch, Loretta Downs is the one that shared this, when you watch the videos, you can, the transcript, you click, what is it, you touch on one of the three little buttons, little dots, and it'll show you if you want to see the transcript. So that way you don't have to listen to everything, you can just shoot through it and, you know, take whatever more notes you might want to take. Thank you. Thank you for appreciating this. I appreciate that so much. That's why I'm here.
Brilliant, thank you. I think you've already succeeded. Anything else is going to be frosting on your cake. But at this very moment, I have 7 friends who are in treatment for cancer. One's in hospice. And I'm about to turn 75 and and I've studied dying for a long time, very carefully thought out decisions about what I'm going to do when the point of aging is not full of well-being anymore. And I'd like your thoughts on that, since.
Well, as you know, in particular, Loretta, you know my feelings. So I have a lot of dementia in my family. It's, you know, wiping my siblings out, and my mother and my aunt, and I'm the youngest by 10 years, so I have this space of time. And it's awful, horrible. It also has allowed me, because this all began many years ago, to start to take a look at the very questions you're asking. Is there a time in my life where I may say the quality of life is not what I consider worth living? This is a very individual perspective. My perspective is, if I am to get dementia, I would like to take my own life. And I've put things in place and to be able to do that, and I have support from people, and I've enlisted. So it's a very personal thing to not think about it. A number of people, but it's particularly men, will say, I don't want to talk about it. Almost as if it will make it happen. If I talk about my dying, if I share this with my family, if I look at, a friend of mine recently, he said, we were talking about aging and dying, and he said, I haven't put any of my stuff together, but I've got lots of time. And I said, oh, how old are you? He said, I'm 82. I said, no, you don't. Anyway, so he did his work. I'm now, hold his folder, so in case something happens. But there is this blindness, and then you don't get any choice. Then you get what you get, or you get what your children want for you. I'm not sure that's the best choice for me. It might be the best choice for you to have, your children make your decisions.
Any more questions? Anyone? Oh, we have one here. Okay, hold on.
It's not really a question. It's just in my own personal experience, I'm now writing my book. And so the slowing down and the wisdom I've gained, it's all come to fruition right now. So if you got something you want to do, get after it. It can happen.
Thank you for that. I agree.
Another one?
Hi, what's your website? What is your website?
Oh, my website is agefreely.com. Agefreely.com. Not aging freely, agefreely.com. Thank you for asking that. It's brand new. It has one more revision to go, but it's excellent. Hi.
Hi, Kat. Thank you so much. Question. You touched on the importance of introspection, cultivating the wisdom that comes naturally with this, well, not naturally.
Not naturally.
The wisdom that can be part of this third age. And the importance, to me, is in reestablishing the channels of communication to transmit that wisdom to those who might receive it and benefit from it. Do you have any thoughts about how we can nurture that particular aspect of, because I think we are the generation that is going to begin to appreciate our own expansion in this age by necessity. We're living a long time. So again, how do we help put in place the mechanisms to transfer that wisdom and knowledge to those who will benefit from it?
Well, one thing for sure is I get a lot of people in my counseling practice who maybe have lost touch with their children, have no relationship with their grandchildren, haven't talked to old friends that they really cherish, but just through the process of life lost touch with. And the real thing is it's never too late. And with technology, there's ways to do it so softly. To say, hey, I know you know, to your grandson, hey, I know you love motorcycles. Look at this cool motorcycle that was on the IE Plaza the other day. I mean, there's ways to say hello that are genuine, but not invasive, not asking for a phone call. Are you going to come to visit? Can I come and visit? So really to reestablish those contacts, or to say, to share something that you just did or you loved with your children or something. Again, depending on the closeness, you may not initiate this in a conversation or visit, but you may say, oh my God, I had the best meal the other night. And that's superficial. But superficial is a way to kind of come in. The other is actually the game. And there's all kinds of conversational card games. This one just particularly focuses on aging. That we've had so much response from people wanting to share it, from women's groups doing it, book groups, from people really wanting to share it with their family. There was one man in particular who was so beautiful. He just said, I have no way to have a conversation. I don't know how to get in to have a conversation with my grandchildren and tell them about my life. This is the vehicle, because it doesn't put anybody on the spot. And so it's really to come into rapport. If your old friend you haven't talked to 45 years ago and you're embarrassed and you're ashamed and you didn't get a hold of them and they contacted you last and you let it go, oh, I'm glad I didn't say the F word. Screw it. Screw it. Do it anyway. Just say the truth. I'm so sorry. I know you contacted me 22 years ago and I didn't respond. I'm thinking of you. Hi. So we can do that, and then to share, what we're learning with each other, right? So there's that, just with each other, like, oh my God, I'm learning, or I am more relaxed. Or, my childhood trauma is still here, and I see that almost everybody has something. And I realize that, and I can live with this. That's my answers. Thank you.
But also,